Hi everyone, today's video is about how to buy a second-hand car, what is important to check before you buy it, where to search for a car, how to close a deal, and so on. In this video I'll speak only about older cars for people who just got their driving license, assuming that they're not gonna buy a brand new or almost new car, because in the beginning it's good to practice first. Also, this is valid for foreigners who exchange their driving license and they want to buy their first car driving on the other side of the road. So in that case, it would be better to buy an older car until you get used to the roads and driving on the other side of the car. Of course, if you're feeling comfortable, you can get a newer car. I have no problem with that, but I wouldn't suggest so. First, let's start with an interesting fact that the cars are cheaper here than what I'm used to in Bulgaria and Croatia. Probably because there is a smaller market, since only in UK and Ireland cars are driven on the other side. You can see them on the streets of other EU countries, but not so often. Very important thing when buying a second-hand car is that the NCT didn't expire, and it is not expiring very soon. I would say the best thing is to have at least 6 months of NCT still remaining. If the NCT expired or it's expiring soon, it could mean that the car has some major issues and the owner doesn't want to fix them, so they prefer to sell, or in the worst case scenario, the car is not worth fixing, so they want to get rid of it. Having fresher NCT or at least 6 months remaining means that main things on the car were checked, so there shouldn't be any major issues. But there is a trick with just done NCT. Some people fix it just to pass the NCT, and if it's just brand new NCT, I would be suspicious as well a little bit. I even have an example for that. A very close person to me bought a car with brand new NCT, and when they went for the next NCT, it turned out that the car is completely rusted under, and he had to invest a lot of money to fix it. So another important thing is to check under the car, because in Ireland rains a lot, and if, for example, the person was parking on a place where is a lot of grass, the car can get rusted very quickly. Last time I checked, the NCT test cost was 60 euros and the retest 40 euros. I'm not sure if this changed recently, but last time they changed, I think it was a year ago, so it shouldn't be different than that. Another important thing is to buy petrol, not diesel. This was recommended to me by my previous boss. So I worked in Toyota for 3 years, and my boss suggested never to buy diesel cars, always petrol. I'm not 100% sure why, but that was his recommendation, and I think if he was working years and years with cars, he should know, right? Next are the websites and prices. The website that is most popular and the best for buying and selling cars specifically is Done Deal. You have cars for sale on adverts.ie as well, but they are mostly repeated from Done Deal. And on Done Deal, people are much more engaged specifically for cars, as I said. The only thing that I would suggest if buying a car through one of these websites, make sure that the person who is selling the car is on that website for quite a while. And if they have any reviews, check the reviews. Another place to check for second-hand cars is Facebook Market, but I wouldn't recommend that one. And of course, the last place that I would recommend are second-hand car dealers, which are a little bit more expensive because they give you some kind of warranty, usually 1-year warranty or something like that, which is pretty good, but usually we wouldn't go this way. The buyer is going to the location of the seller to check the car, and if they like it, they pay and drive the car home. But in some cases you can ask if the seller can come to you and show you the car on your location, which is possible if they agree, of course. I wouldn't go for a car lower than 1,000 euros. Of course, it depends what do you need it for. I was looking for something smaller for shorter drives to go to work and back mainly, with lower tax possible, lower fuel consumption, and Toyota Yaris was the perfect choice. Of course, I'm talking about cars in driving condition with no major issues that you need to repair straight after you buy the car. The price of my car is around 1,500 euros, as I sold it just around 1.5 years ago for that money. The year 2004 in very good condition and pretty low mileage. If you need a bigger car for a family or for longer drives to travel around, you will have to look for something stronger. For us, that was necessary as well. So for my husband, we bought Toyota Auris for that reason, which cost around 2,900 approximately at the moment. Year 2008, 1.4 in very good condition and pretty low mileage as well. I think it was like around 120,000 kilometers, something like that. Toyota Auris, I have to say that it's pretty good car in terms of there is plenty of space, and also it is pretty strong to even go to the mountain and travel around the island and stuff. But the year 2008 has extremely expensive tax, so I definitely wouldn't recommend it. If you want to buy that car, yes, I would recommend it, but just look for the year before, 2007, or 2009 and the years after, because the tax is lower. It's around 350 or 300. I think something about the CO2 emission on that car for 2008 specifically, making it so high. Have no idea. Anyways, you can always check the tax price on the ad. They should show that because I think it's automatic. Smaller cars have a lower tax, of course, like my Toyota Yaris was 199 euros, and stronger cars, bigger cars, have higher tax price. But if you get a hybrid, they even have lower tax, around 140 is the minimum. The price of the tax depends on the engine size and the CO2 emission. The next point is brand recommendations. There is no surprise that I would recommend Toyota cars. Both of our cars were Toyotas and we were very happy with them. They are very popular in Ireland. It is really reliable car. There is a lot of parts for them. They are middle range price, not on the cheapest side and not on the most expensive side. And also Japanese cars, which is pretty good, but don't buy Aygo, especially Aygo before 2021. Aygo is the only Toyota model before 2021, of course, which uses a different engine designed by Daihatsu, probably I'm pronouncing this wrong, and produced in Czech Republic. This is also information that I got from my boss when I worked in Toyota. The rest of Toyotas have their own engine, produced mainly in Japan. The next point is the insurance, prices and websites. What surprised me a lot here in Ireland is that the first insurance for the first year can be more expensive than the price of the second-hand car. For example, when I bought my first car, it was 1,000 euros and my first insurance was around 2,000 euros. Shocking, isn't it? The good news is that every year you drive with no claims, you get a no claim bonus, and the insurance gets lower and lower, up to lowest around 300-330 euros. So we had one of our cars for 10 plus years, and the last few years we were paying around 330 euros, 350 the year before, and 380 2 years before, and so on. Anyways, even after the first year with no claim bonus, your insurance can drop drastically to 1,000 euros. So it is much better than 2,000, of course. And then after 2 years, around 800 euros, 700, and so on, depending on the strength of the car, of course. This is the reason as well why a smaller car in the beginning is better, because the insurance also is cheaper because of the engine size. Engine size from 1.0 to 1.4 or 1.5 is lower, and then over 1.5 or 1.6 up, the insurance can jump up with 1,000 euros just because of the engine size of the car. Another important thing to get a lower price of the insurance is to have a full Irish driving license. So for example, if you are coming from a foreign country, exchange your driving license. Also, if you add additional driver who has a lot of experience and no claim bonuses, the insurance price as well can drop down. For foreigners who drove in their home country for a long time with no claims, they can bring their no claim bonus from their home country, because some companies here accept foreign no claim bonuses, but to be honest, less and less companies accept that, unfortunately. But just in case, bring it and try. For websites, the best for me personally is Chill.ie, because they give you variety of insurers and prices, and even when you see the lowest price, you can go to that insurer directly and see if they'll give you even better price. If they don't give you, you can buy it through Chill.ie, of course. And we came to the last point, which is really important. When you buy the car, ask the seller for the logbook and fill in your details there, sign it, and you ask the owner to sign in front of you as well. And you have to take a picture of both sides of the logbook so you have a proof, because the owner is sending the logbook for change of ownership. Once they send it, in approximately 1 or 2 weeks, you should get your new logbook. In case that you pass the M50 on the day of buying the car, ensure that you pay it straight away, because usually the toll will come to the previous owner. So not to have any complications, because in that case they would get the fine and they have to fill in your details, send to you, and so on. And that's it. Having a car is definitely a good comfort, and also is a good motivation to travel around, because without a car is a little bit complicated. But as well, the traffic, especially in Dublin, is getting really bad. So I understand why the government is trying to motivate people to use more public transport and bikes. That's why they lower the prices for public transport. And as well, you know, you have a lot of options where through work you can get a bike and so on. But yeah, you decide. I just gave you some advices so you know what you're doing. I hope this was helpful, and see you in the next video. Bye bye!